What I'm going to try to get across to you in this film should really make you think. I'll be challenging the much beloved concept of national parks and nature reserves. On the surface, humans seem to have got something right for a change by looking after some of our best wild places and wildlife. But is this sufficient? Are we being big-minded enough? I'm out of the studio for this film, as you can see, starting off here at Yellowstone National Park in America. The United States was the first country in the world to establish a national park way back in 1872, and it was Yellowstone. Land had earlier been set aside in 1864 for what was to later become Yosemite National Park in California, but Yellowstone has the privilege of being the very first to be declared anywhere. Approximately half of all the world's hydrothermal features are concentrated within Yellowstone. Old Faithful is the most famous and predictable of the geysers, with up to 32,000 litres of boiling water thrown upwards to a maximum height of 184 feet. There's a lot of wildlife here. Bison are iconic, albeit more associated historically as a prairie species. Up to 60 million bison once roamed free in North America. Native Americans initially reduced numbers, causing local extinctions. Then European settlers all but eliminated them. Shockingly, by 1902, less than 25 bison survived in the wild. Yellowstone played a crucial role in their continued existence. Nowadays, this national park typically has more than 3,000 of these magnificent large beasts roaming around. There are also herds of elk, pronghorn antelope and mule deer, plus moose and bighorn sheep. Black bears and grizzly bears live here too, as well as mountain lions and coyotes. Otters can be found in the many waterways. Bald eagles and golden eagles are just two of the nearly 300 species of birds that have been recorded in the park. Then there's all of the small stuff and the plant life. It's a genuine haven for nature. And I haven't forgotten the wolf. The last one in Yellowstone was killed by the National Park Service in 1926. In those days, predators were considered to be vermin. Pioneering conservationists then began to call for this predator to be reintroduced, although the dream took over 50 years to realise. There was a lot of opposition. Wolves were finally returned in 1995. We dedicated a whole section of our coffee table book, Holding On, to the wolves of Yellowstone. And there'll be a link in the description box below if you're interested in getting it to learn more. Since their successful reintroduction, wolves are most easily seen during the winter months. The road in the northern section of Yellowstone is kept open during that time of the year, helping enthusiastic visitors to spot wolves as they hunt elk. Of course, if you're out early enough, you can see them in any season. We really didn't expect to see wolves on this trip because our filming schedule was only 3 days. But on the second morning, we did. The Hayden Valley Pack saw an elk and chased after it. One of the wolves got very close, but on this occasion, the elk got away. National parks and other nature reserves in many countries are playing an essential role in preserving wildlife and the all-important natural habitats. We ourselves established the Oasis and Oasis Woods in Sussex, England over 40 years ago, followed by the huge Komsberg Wilderness Nature Reserve in South Africa over 20 years ago. So you might be surprised by what I'm about to say next. We think the idea of national parks and nature reserves is a fundamentally flawed concept. Don't get me wrong, for now they're definitely needed, absolutely. But ultimately, it's the wrong way of looking at things. I won't say anything more right now, but please bear with me because we'll get back to this a little bit later in the film. I'm now at the equally famous Grand Canyon National Park. Of course, it's really good that this spectacular natural formation is protected. It's 10 miles across from one side to the other and a mile deep. However, it's mainly become a tourist attraction for day trippers, although some stay a night or two. Over 6 million visitors now come here each year, and this high number of people takes its toll. It's not uncommon for tourists to feed the wildlife. despite signs and leaflets urging them not to do this. Or they might carelessly throw their litter on the ground. These actions can result in the park rangers shooting mule deer. It's a job that none of the staff want to do, but they have to do it because the deer become weakened and starving. Some of the deer become habituated to human foods, consuming plastic bags and food wrappers, as well as biscuits and crisps. Autopsies have revealed that the deer's stomachs get clogged with ingested rubbish. In some cases, an astonishing 3 to 5 pounds of plastic obstructed the animal's digestive system, so they were unable to absorb the food they were trying to eat. Food wrappings, cups, bottles, hats and much more get carelessly dropped, thrown or blown by the wind over the edge of the popular viewpoints. 2 weeks ago, members of a climbing club came here to Grand Canyon. Safely secured by ropes, they removed everything they could see and reach. The amount collected was horrendous, and it's already starting to build up again. When I was here a few years ago, it was hellish, with the main overlook points as busy as a city centre. And this was at the tail end of the season, not during the peak months. People often treat visiting a national park as just something to do, a place to tick off their superficial been there, done that list. They might go, wow, or awesome, but any appreciation for nature is limited. It's as if these special places have become mere theme parks. As we're a British organisation, it's appropriate that I'm next here in the Lake District, England's biggest and most famous national park. The scenery is beautiful, at times stunning. However, it's not really natural. The mountains here are called fells. That's because it's high ground utilised for grazing. There are sheep everywhere. Domesticated farm sheep, that is. Not bears and wolves, which became extinct long ago, but sheep. You rarely even see deer here. Golden eagles were locally eradicated by the end of the 18th century. One pair returned to nest in the national park for a few years, but they're now also gone. To be bluntly honest, the habitat is degraded, despite it being a high rainfall region. And it's hill farming that keeps it this way, all the grazing sheep. We saw more wildlife on the M40 motorway around Oxford, travelling up here from Sussex, where you're almost guaranteed to see red kites overhead. We're amongst the most nature-depleted nations in the world. This is England's, Great Britain's, best national park. You wouldn't be impressed if you went to the Serengeti, for example, and it was full of sheep instead of wild animals, would you? At least the bighorn sheep in Yellowstone are natural, a wild species. So our most famous national park is a bit of a joke. Beautiful landscapes, yes, but not really that natural. The Lakeland poet Norman Nicholson, writing in the 1960s, was forward-looking. He said, "The national park will become no more than a convalescent home for a sick urban civilization." And our society has become sick, with the Lake District becoming a place to get away from it all. Only what you often get is long, frustrating traffic jams along narrow country roads, going through small villages, where most of the shops nowadays just cater for mass tourism, rather than the locals who have to drive elsewhere to do their shopping. And when you're out walking, there's discarded toilet paper everywhere, behind almost every rock. The lack of self-discipline, the degree of self-obsession and entitlement is disgusting. It's at odds with nature, but it's tragically become normalised. Of course, this is all conveniently justified. What people want is dominating far too much. It's all about me. Wilderness hasn't in any way been restored. The Lake District remains manicured by sheep, and very pretty, a picture postcard holiday destination. Our country is world leading in many ways, but when it comes to wildlife conservation, we're dismally lagging behind if our primary national park is anything to go by. My final destination for this film is Kruger National Park, South Africa. It's home to the Big Five: lion, leopard, rhino, elephant and buffalo. And that's just the start. The biodiversity here is tremendous. 147 different mammals, 507 bird species, a variety of 336 trees and 114 species of reptile, plus everything else. Kruger National Park is an undeniably big place. It's about the size of Wales or Israel. And it's now part of the Great Limpopo Transfrontier Park, which is in the process of being formed, joining conservation land in neighbouring Mozambique and Zimbabwe. Going back to our book, Holding On, another section covers the important topic of size matters. Big animals and predators need a lot of space to thrive. This includes the elephant, lion and African wild dog in particular, but also leopard, black rhino, white rhino and buffalo. Elephants, for example, eat a huge amount of food each and every day. Over time, this will significantly change an ecosystem if it's too small in size. Forests can become grassland. Ideally, to maintain a wide biodiversity, there has to be an enormous amount of land for animals to move from area to area, allowing vegetation time to recover. But there's almost never enough when it comes to national parks. The culling of elephants used to happen here at Kruger as a means for controlling increasing numbers before they could cause excessive change to their environment. That's been stopped, at least for now, and taking down fences between South Africa and war-torn Mozambique, then relocating animals has helped. When elephants were culled, it triggered a fierce international debate with strong arguments on both sides. It was a headache versus heartache debate with no easy answers. Do you prioritise the lives of the elephants? And it was about 500 elephants a year that were killed. Or do you put the preservation of biodiversity first? When I was here 16 years ago, we talked with a senior manager whose job had once included the culling of numerous elephant families. He candidly admitted to having sleepless nights when he got a bit older, emotionally disturbed at what he'd done. So as big as Kruger National Park is, it's actually not big enough. Yes, it's much, much better than nothing. But the available land, which, as you can see behind me, goes on and on as far as the eye can see, is nevertheless a tiny fraction compared to what nature once had. And that's the starting point of why we must question the whole concept of national parks and nature reserves. They're simply not big enough. Their restricted sizes cause serious management problems. But our argument doesn't stop there. The necessary deliberation has to go further. Thinking wider, longer in time, what about evolution? For the processes involved in natural selection to occur, to continue, there must be much, much, much more space for nature. Until the human population significantly increased, assuming the right to spread, exploit and destroy, planet Earth was one ginormous home to wildlife. Then, as humans took over, we put aside bits of unused land as preserves or parks, sometimes early on, solely for rich individuals to go hunting. Nowadays, these preserves effectively give a green light to exploit everywhere else. Don't get me wrong, national parks are better than nothing, but it's not enough. In the future, when humans have grown up, with a healthier, mature psychological attitude, including a genuine concern for all, there'll be a fundamental rethink. This will result in the realisation that we've got a lot wrong, including our attitude to nature. At that point, having reconsidered our priorities, we'll wisely decide to voluntarily restrict the bulk of human activity to human parks, allowing wild animals and plants the freedom to recolonise most of our planet. This will obviously go hand in hand with sensibly reducing our population size to a level that doesn't negatively impact Earth. The dawning of a more coherent human intelligence and great caring will one day become a reality. We won't stay this dumb and stupid forever. We will progress from our current adolescent stage to maturity or adulthood. It's just a question of when. And one of the many consequences, benefits, will be the expansion of nature once again. Meanwhile, reserves like Kruger National Park are definitely needed.